What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Just doing a quick review on NXT. Originally I wasn't going to do a review after my last video, but then I watched NXT and it turned out to be a good show. Anyways, the opening match was Candice LeRae versus Ember Moon. Nothing really to talk about here. It was a quick match, about 5 minutes. Candice LeRae won. After the match, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Indy Hartwell and Gonzalez attacked Ember Moon, which led to Toni Storm coming out to make the save and drag Ember Moon out of the ring. Took me by surprise what happened next. Toni Storm attacked and threw Ember Moon into the ring. That kind of took me by surprise. I didn't expect Toni Storm to turn heel, but it could be a good move. Hopefully it works out well. The Toni Storm is heel. I'm a big fan of Toni Storm, especially her early work in NXT UK. She was feuding with Rhea Ripley in NXT UK and then obviously won the championship against Rhea Ripley to become the NXT UK Women's Champion. If you haven't watched any of Toni Storm in NXT UK, I definitely recommend it. She's a very good wrestler, especially on the mic and in ring. Moving on, Undisputed Era cut a promo, basically just calling out Team McCaff, which is Pat McCaff, Lorcan Birch and the one and only Pete Dunne. They're basically saying to them that they're going to be in for a brutal match in NXT War Games. They don't know what they've signed up for. Also, during that promo, it was announced that one of Undisputed Era would face Pete Dunne in a ladder match, which would give their team the winning advantage. Now, bear in mind, since War Games was brought to NXT, Undisputed Era have never lost, and also they've never lost in an advantage match. So Kyle O'Reilly wants to face Pete Dunne, so he got given that match because remember what happened a few months ago when Pete Dunne turned on Kyle O'Reilly. Next was Rhea Ripley. She cut a promo. She was basically talking about all the speculation about her future because she lost last week in a brutal, bloody match against Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship. She was saying a lot of speculation was going around because she hugged Io Shirai after the match. She was basically saying that she gave a hug to Io Shirai out of respect. She really respects Io Shirai. This led to Team Candice, which is Dakota Kai, Gonzalez, Storm and Candice coming out with Io Shirai to beat her up and brought her out to the top of the ramp, which led to Rhea Ripley looking distraught. So she basically said to him, "Come on, if you want some, come and get me." So Team Candice came down and Rhea Ripley got a beat down, but before the beat down she was smart. She ran out of the ring and she attacked Gonzalez because Gonzalez is the biggest member of Team Candice. So of course Rhea Ripley got beat down anyways. She did well. So that's obviously going to mean now for War Games is Team Candice versus Team Blackheart. So Blackheart is it's kind of obvious it's going to be Blackheart, Moon, Rhea and Io Shirai. Now that is a great lineup for a match in NXT War Games. The women's match along with the men's match is going to be epic. I love War Games. It's probably my favourite NXT pay-per-view, I think. Always a cracker of a pay-per-view. The next match was Kushida versus Thatcher. Kushida won. Thatcher was pretty paranoid because Ciampa was outside the ring with a steel chair. He was sitting down just watching. Kushida won. Thatcher was looking at Ciampa and Ciampa was looking into the camera like, yeah, I think he's mad at me now. I'm a big fan of Thatcher in recent weeks. As we've seen in recent weeks, he's been teaching some wrestlers in NXT development how to grapple and just wrestle in general, and then it's ended up turning that he's been too hard on them when they're attacking him. So Thatcher is a very hard hitting wrestler, so is Ciampa. So whenever this match happens, I'm going to be hyped. Definitely going to be hyped. I can't wait for it. I say that'll probably happen at NXT War Games as well. The next is a special episode of the KO show. Kevin Owens was a special guest commentator for the entire show, and he wanted to do a special episode of the KO show, and his host was none other than the North American champion Ruff. Basically he was just giving praise to Ruff for beating Gargano twice, and he was also saying not to mention Gargano's name because if you do, he will come down to the ring. That's what it's like in NXT when Kevin Owens used to be there. So of course Ruff was basically talking shit about Gargano, and then Kevin Owens was looking at him like, what did I tell you? It's like, then it turned a bit funny. He was like 1, 2, 3, delayed a few seconds, and Gargano's music hit, and all you see is Kevin Owens turning to rough, and he was just like, okay, see, I told you, mention someone's name to come out. It's exactly like the old NXT when I was there. Then Gargano came down and basically said to Ruff, you didn't beat me fair and square, you had someone to help you, which was, of course, Damian Priest. And then Kevin Owens was looking at Gargano, and he was just like, as I just said to Ruff a few minutes ago, don't mention someone's name because the person you've mentioned will come down. And then he was like 1, 2, 3, and Damian Priest came down. Damian Priest came down, and he showed a lot of respect for Kevin Owens. And he started looking over to Ruff, and he was just like, oh yeah, you're the new tough guy around here, I see. I heard last week you said you'd challenge both me and Gargano for a triple threat match for the North American title. And then Ruff was just like all happy as a little kid. Yeah, I did, yeah. And then I came back to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was like, whoa. He's like, where's Teddy Long when you need him? I don't know if Teddy Long is in NXT. I don't think they have a Teddy Long kind of character in NXT, is what Kevin Owens was saying. And then William Regal's music hit. William Regal came out and he announced a triple threat match between the three for the North American title at NXT War Games. And then he threw a little comment. Remember when rewind the years going back to SmackDown and Teddy Long whatever announced a match, he always said player. So yeah, that's what William Regal did. He kind of just turned his neck like that and was like, player. So that was kind of funny. That was a good episode of the KO show. Also talking about just Kevin Owens in general, I wouldn't mind him coming back down to NXT. Like if you look at Finn Balor, he left Raw, just the main roster in general, came back to NXT and he's champion. So I won't mind Kevin Owens doing that, especially because he was in NXT before, and well, he's just loved all around the wrestling community. After that KO show, it was Cameron Grimes versus Atlas. I'm not a big fan of either of these. Loomis came down with a strap and taunted Grimes from outside the ring, which led to Grimes getting the win anyways, and Grimes running off. And just as he was running up the ramp, running away from Loomis because he's terrified of him, you could hear kind of a video package of the Halloween Havoc match between Grimes and Loomis in the background, and that led to the general manager William Regal announcing a strap match between Loomis and Grimes. That could be interesting. I say Grimes might win. I'm not too sure. It depends on how they want to build up Loomis. Loomis's character at the moment is what is kind of like a mysterious serial killer vibes and getting off him. A lot of people don't like him. I'm not his biggest fan, but I don't mind him. Like if he's on TV, I'd watch him because he's actually a pretty good wrestler. So I don't know what way they're going to do his character. After that, we seen a video package which was Xia Li and Boa. They were taken in a car by their masters and they were brought to a mysterious place. It's all dark, and they were scared because they've been losing their matches in recent weeks. There was a mysterious woman there, not too sure who it was. Well, she's mysterious, so yeah. And they were begging, please don't hurt us. And one of the masters put a black mark on their wrist, and they were like, we promise we won't lose it again. And then it just ended with the mysterious woman just kind of looking up, and you can see her eyes. It's going to be interesting to see who that is. Somebody making a debut, hopefully. It's the only thing I can think of it, or maybe it could be someone returning to go for Io Shirai. So that could be interesting in the future to see how that all plays out. Also, there was a nice surprise. A tag team that used to be in NXT from NXT UK came back. The grizzled young veterans. They came back. Ever Rise was coming out to have a match, and then they got attacked by the grizzled young veterans. So that was actually that was a pretty good surprise. I'm happy they came back. They were on NXT before the pandemic hit. They were always very good. So they basically they attacked Ever Rise, and they were basically saying they're back in NXT, about time, and they're going to take over the place. So yeah, I definitely would not mind seeing them going after Lorcan and Birch for the NXT tag team titles. That'd be very good. Last but not least, the ladder match between Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly. A ladder match and Kyle O'Reilly usually means havoc. Always brutal. It was a pretty good match. It lasted about 10-15 minutes, and it was enjoyable from start to finish. Pete Dunne got the win. Somebody mysterious and just basically mysterious came and pushed Kyle O'Reilly out of the ring on top of the ladder to give Pete Dunne the advantage to climb up and get the contract, the briefcase that was hanging above the ring. So Pete Dunne won, which means his team have the advantage going into NXT War Games, which is also a first loss for Undisputed Era when it comes to an advantage match. Pat McAfee wasn't at NXT, so I have a feeling he was the mysterious person, because all the rest of the Undisputed Era they were in the audience, and so was Lorcan and Birch, which is two members of Team McAfee, the NXT champions. NXT Tag Team Champions. This match in general was mad. There was a lot of hard hitting moments in it. Kyle O'Reilly looked fairly beat up after it. But yeah, it was a good match. So NXT War Games is looking to be a pretty good card now, in fairness. Team Candice versus Team Shotzi Blackheart. Then you have Undisputed Era versus Team McAfee, which is, them two matches are just going to be amazing. And then hopefully we have Thatcher and Ciampa announced as well, which is also going to be another hard hitting match. Anyways, that was NXT. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, give me some feedback on how I'm doing. Any feedback, negative or positive, is welcome. So leave a like, and if you want to see more, please subscribe. Cheers.